So supposedly we have some new leaked information around GTA 6, and it's another one of those videos where I want to talk about it and I want to kind of like clarify a few bits of information, but there's no way to like confirm this information or dispel this information. This is what I like to call the grey area of GTA 6 leaks. Now, before we get into the information, let me just clarify one thing. If I said to you, grass is green because people put green food colouring on grass, well, you'd pretty unanimously agree that that's probably not true. But grass is still green, and it's exactly the same scenario of what we're going to talk about in this video. What has been said is perfectly plausible, but it's not plausible because of leaked information. It's plausible because of information that came out about GTA 6 years ago. So what the hell am I talking about? Well, like the last spate of leaked, and I say leaked in quotations because this is so loose. The last lot of information came from a guy called Fravilis, don't know, and it came up on a French website called Medium. Now, obviously the entire thing is in French and there's a few takeaways that can be taken from this article. So let's just summarize everything that's actually in this particular article. So apparently Grand Theft Auto Online internally was codenamed GTA 6 MP. Now, I've checked various sources on this and it wasn't a code name, it was literally just an abbreviation for Grand Theft Auto 6 multiplayer. Like this, it wasn't a project code name, that is just the abbreviation. It is literally Grand Theft Auto 6 multiplayer mode. Like that's not a secret internal code name for the project. It was literally just a way to differentiate internally from talking between GTA Online for GTA 5 and Grand Theft Auto 6 Online counterpart. Then the next thing is that apparently the game will support 64 player lobbies instead of 32, but there is plans to increase this up to 96 players. Now this, once again, isn't a major leak. In fact, Take-Two Interactive years ago filed a patent for server meshing, which would talk about how they could increase different player counts by essentially making one individual part of the map split between different segments. We were aware of this for many years, and we have been. There was always a plan to introduce more players into online sessions of Grand Theft Auto 6, and this isn't really a leak in my opinion. This is something that's publicly available. The next thing is that GTA Online is at a much more advanced stage of development than the original Grand Theft Auto Online was. Now, I think for me personally, this is probably the most stupid thing that was mentioned. For GTA 5, there was no intention of Grand Theft Auto Online becoming the success it became. In fact, Grand Theft Auto Online was shunned by a lot of the people inside of Rockstar when it was being worked on. Everyone wanted to focus on story DLC, and during this period, they were actually working on DLCs to follow post-release, which we learned about from the source code leaks. Loads of actual story mode DLCs got scrapped when Online took off. So saying that Online for GTA 6 is in a more advanced position than it was for Grand Theft Auto 5 is pretty obvious. Like, I'd assume that's very obvious. Now, next we'll go on to the supposed ability to do various different activities within free mode with players from different sessions without the various different loading times across the board. So the whole idea behind this is essentially, rather than loading into a mission, like for example when you do a quick join on a job, you don't need to load into a different session. You can pretty much go straight into that session by, for example, walking to a waypoint or something like that. Once again, this isn't something that I feel like required a leak. It's very obvious that Rockstar would revamp the whole way that Online works, and especially with the information that we've seen from, once again, the server meshing patent, it actually talks exactly specifically about this individual thing. And then the final thing that goes on to is that the goal is to eliminate like menu activities and navigation, so you don't have to, to join different sessions, you don't need to go through different menu options and stuff like that. Once again, this is covered in the server meshing patent. This information could have come from Rockstar Games, or it could have come from the publicly available documents that have been online for years. I do think it's really interesting that leaked information about GTA 6 is given credibility on its likelihood to be true rather than the source itself. When it comes to information like this, it goes back to what I said at the start of the video. Grass is green, but it's not because food colouring was added to it. It's still green, but the actual cause and effect are very different things. So whilst a lot of the media is reporting on this as inside information, myself and many of the YouTubers have been talking about these patents filed by Take-Two for years. And it's not like inside scoop information. This is literally from publicly available documents that we've been talking about. Well, I've been talking about it since I started my channel. So the source on this isn't a Rockstar insider. I'm not a Rockstar insider. I'm able to check like one or two bits of information with Rockstar employees, but it's more to debunk things rather than to confirm new things that we didn't already know. So yeah, this isn't a leak. It is somewhat correct information, but there's not really much we can do with it. Before I go, if you want to get yourself an awesome desk mat and matching screensaver, make sure you go and check out Technically Stable down below and use the code CYBERBOY to get yourself 10% off. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.